So I have never been on the 360 camera hype train. They just seemed really expensive and just not a really attractive solution for me, so I never got one. But today I'm playing around with the Insta360 X4, which is a top of the line 360 camera. So let's see if this can change my mind. So obviously this video is going to be kind of biased. Like I just said, I'm not really a fan of 360 cameras. But also in interest of full disclosure, this camera was sent to me for free. But not like you're thinking. This video isn't sponsored. I got to borrow this camera for a week from Campground Studios, who I do video work for. So I did not buy it with my own money, but I wanted to take this opportunity to make some content for my channel. So first impressions. From the moment you open the box, like you can tell this is a premium setup. The packaging is really clean and high quality, and the camera itself, I mean, it feels really well built. So in every way, as far as the quality of the setup, I was like, I was pretty impressed. So besides the price, why have I not been a big fan of these? I have had the chance to play around a little bit with some footage shot on a 360 camera, just in some of the editing jobs I've had. And kind of my takeaway from that is it's basically a slightly lower quality action camera that you have to do work after the fact to get an image out of. With an action camera, you point and shoot. It is what it is, and that's what you got, and hopefully it's pretty good. With a 360 camera, in order for you to use the video at all, you have to go into either your phone app or the desktop studio Insta360 app and painstakingly reframe everything with keyframes, or just, you can do a mode where you just track a subject and it stays focused on that subject the whole time. But just, it's kind of a pain because you have to go through another step to be able to work with the footage. I would definitely say there are situations where a 360 camera is the best option if capturing everything that's going on around is a #1 priority. But to use it as just your main action camera just didn't seem very attractive to me. So let's power it on here. There we go, happy sounds. So the X4 is an 8K resolution camera, which is pretty crazy. There's not too many consumer cameras out there that shoot in 8K, at least not yet. But the caveat of that is I think that's counting both sensors combined, so, or however that works with the 360 sphere image it's capturing. So a reframed 9:16 video isn't going to be 8K when it's reframed like that. But you can shoot 8K up to 30 frames per second, or 5.7K up to 60. And then if you go into the bullet time feature, you can actually shoot 5.7K up to 120. But from what I've seen and just playing around with this, it seems that the difference there is that it automatically reframes it to 16:9, focusing on one direction, and then it can shoot up to 5.7K 120. So it has a nice screen associated with it here. So you can look around in here, which is kind of cool. You can look up and down. This is all just in the preview of what it's going to record. And there's a button here in the bottom right corner you can hit to recenter the view on, in this case, me. And then you can hit it again to go into selfie mode, which looks back at you. On the front here, you got your record button right here, bottom left, and then this one right here, I actually don't know what it does. It goes to, oh, that's a quick switch between video modes. I guess if you were shooting underwater and couldn't use the touch screen to do this, okay. And then on the side, besides the power button here, we also have right below it a Q button, which can be customized to do some different things. You can go in and set custom settings, some presets, so resolution and frame rate, basically. Maybe some exposure settings you can have customized on these. And they also have a bunch of preloaded presets that you can use, like motorcycling, biking, running, skiing, stuff like that. So one of the cool things you can do with a 360 camera is get kind of a fake drone shot if you're in a place where drones aren't allowed or that kind of thing, which is actually going to be the case in some of the shoots I'm doing with Campground Studios. So we got this super duper long extended selfie stick. It's like, I was really surprised. Like it's a lot bigger for one thing, a lot thicker than I was anticipating. It's kind of chunky on this end of it. It goes out to like 10 feet, I think, which I saw the inches on the label of it, but just didn't really think about how long that would be. It's really long. So let's just walk around a little bit here and get some footage. The camera does record audio, which is nice. It's not necessarily the highest quality audio, of course, so it seems to be okay. I do want to be careful of this power line here they recommend, because carbon fiber is conductive, so just gonna be careful of that. If you haven't seen a 360 camera in action before, it's super cool. Like, it is really, really neat to have this kind of third-person view, top-down, you know, follow camera look. 360 cameras are great at capturing that, and there's really nothing like it. So, I mean, in that respect, I am, you know, kind of impressed by this. It's not an angle that I really have a need for a lot, but it is very unique. So I kind of have to give it that. Now, because the camera's way out there on the end of the pole, I'm gonna turn on the voice control so I don't have to bring it down to talk to it every time. So turning on that, English, yes please. So now if I say, start recording. Start recording. Okay, I guess I kind of have to yell at it. So the cool thing here is it removes a selfie stick, right? In the stitching that it does and everything, it's able to remove the stick from the picture. And so you get like this floating camera look, which is, like I said, really unique. But this brings me to my primary gripe with 360 cameras, and that is the stitch line. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's the two hemispheres basically of video, the front and the back lens, and to stitch those together, there's gonna be kind of a seam in the video. So right now, as you can see, after I reframed this video, took me a few minutes to do that. Again, another of my gripes, but you can see my face just fine. I look all good, all handsome as usual, and there's no problems. But if I turn the camera sideways here, like so, you can see there's this kind of ugly line running right through my face. So I rotate the camera back and forth. You can see it kind of crossing over my face. It's just really suboptimal look. That's one of the things I just don't like about it when it comes to using it as a super versatile capture all, do all action camera, is that you have that ugly stitch line that can really completely ruin one of your shots. Whereas on a regular action camera, well, you have to make sure you're pointing it in generally the right direction, but you're not gonna have, you know, unusable parts of the footage. So yeah, I'm gonna spare you the trouble of commenting here, although still comment because it's really good for the algorithm. But I got inside, got to editing, and realized the stitch line isn't so bad. And here's the thing that I changed. So when I first was playing with the camera, I had the little standard lens guards on, and the stitch line was really bad. And here's some of that footage. But today I took the lens guards off, and the stitch line is almost not noticeable. Now you do still notice things like when the sun is coming in really strong from one side, you kind of get a glare on that lens and nothing on the other lens, so you have kind of a weird stitch line situation there where you can see it because of the lighting differences. But as far as actually seeing the seam or messing up faces and stuff, I'm not noticing that as badly with the lens guards off. So I guess if you want the best quality footage, leave the lens guards off, but that kinda could be an issue if you're mounting this outside a vehicle, say, and you have rocks flying up and hitting it and stuff. I don't know, I guess just something to keep in mind, but yeah, quality is better without the lens guards. But with that being said, let's kind of run around a little bit here and get some cool 360 footage B-roll with my Insta360 staff, which isn't even at full length here. See if I can get it all the way out. There we go. Oh yeah, might even get my bike out. Haven't done that in a couple years. I just happen to be really conscious of that stitch line and always make sure one of the lenses is pointed toward my subject basically, and I don't have a shot like this from right at the end of the selfie stick. I'll remain unconvinced, undissuaded on my stance on 360 cameras, at least so far. Keep watching, I may learn something here still. And I kind of did learn something because you can hardly see that stitch line, the seam. So point for 360 footage. So I want to compare this to something I am familiar with, which is a regular old action camera. I am conscious of the fact that these aren't really apples to apples comparisons, because this is designed to be best at capturing footage in every direction. Pretty remarkable, like I'll give it that for sure. An action camera is designed to be best at capturing footage in one direction. So they aren't really apples to apples comparisons, but for the person who wants to use an Insta360 as their main action camera, like that's a good group of people there, because it's an expensive camera and it seems kind of silly to have this and a regular action camera if you aren't like a filmmaker and, you know, have applications for both. So for you, that person. There is the single lens mode, which turns off the back lens or the front lens, and you just use one lens on here. And I'm interested to see in that mode how it shapes up against my DJI Action 3, which, worth noting also, no longer the top of the line action camera, but nonetheless, let's just give it a quick comparison and see what they look like. All right, walking side by side with these two cameras. On the right is the DJI Action 3. On the left is the Insta360 X4. Going through some challenging dynamic range environments. Color profiles on the Insta360 is the default, the regular one. On the Action 3, it is the normal color profile, so not the decently like 10-bit, it's 8-bit footage. And something only the Insta360 can do is hit this button right here, and now we're in selfie mode. So that is unique to that one. And boom, there we go, we are in selfie camera mode. So points in favor of the Insta360 footage here. It seems like it has better dynamic range and is probably the sharper of the two images. So in those respects, it's better than my Action 3. But I'm kind of disappointed just by the overall quality. And this is something that you might not see really clearly by the time I've exported this video out and then YouTube has recompressed it. But I can see really clearly, like in the sky in this shot, it just looks kind of grungy. And then especially going through the shadows here, if you look at my face and then like at my shirt in the shadowy areas, there's a lot of artifacting and blocking and digitaliness that is just really not ideal. And keep in mind too that this is an image straight out of camera. This hasn't gone through any post-processing to get to this point. So it's the image that it records. Another area I haven't been just blown away when it comes to Insta360 specifically is with the Insta360 Studio app. It works, it kind of gets the job done. It's not too complex, so I guess that's good. Mostly it's with the exports. To get any footage that you'll use in a video from your 360 camera, it has to go through the Insta360 Studio app. And the exported videos, I mean, they're fine quality. I'm just not blown away by the compression and so forth. But I haven't messed around too much with using the ProRes export, which is, I'll give it to them, is a pretty noteworthy feature because ProRes has licensing and stuff like that they had to go through to be able to export in ProRes. The thing with ProRes is it's huge file sizes, so I'm not in love with that. But I'm going to compare real quick two clips that I'll export out. One will be in H.265 and one in ProRes, and I'll kind of pixel peep a little bit and see if I can see a difference in the compression and stuff. All right, so I got this shot of me biking here. I'm a really expert biker, so this was great. On this keyframe here, I'm gonna set it to be the ultra wide. And what I'm seeing is like, that compression is just straight up bad. Out of the Insta360 camera. I'm not crazy about that. You can probably even see that on my 1080p screen capture here. So now I'm gonna go up to here to export. Estimated file size 117 megabytes. Now let's go to export it again, and I'm gonna say ProRes 422, and the estimated file size this time was 1.37 gigabytes. All right, now we're here in DaVinci Resolve. I'll bring them both down into a timeline here, side by side. So this is the H.265 one. I'm gonna zoom in here and then compare that to ProRes. So, I mean, there's a little more detail in the ProRes one. I look at my face here. This is ProRes. H.265 ProRes. Yeah, definitely more detail in the ProRes. Let's go down here where it looked like the compression was bad. So to me, this looks like, this is H.265, and this looks like kind of not great blocking when it comes to the compression. And on the ProRes one, oh, it's somewhat better. So it would seem that ProRes gives you a little bit higher quality, but I don't feel like it's 8 times higher quality like the file size reflects. I don't know, I'm probably gonna stick with H.265, but kind of my point here and the gripe I'm kind of explaining is that with a 360 camera, the quality of your footage depends on the quality of your exported video. So it just gets a little messy, and I'm just not a big fan of the process. So one of the random cool things you can do with your 360 camera is what they call bullet time, which is a shooting mode you go into. I mentioned it earlier, puts you into 120 frames per second, and the idea is that you swing the camera around your head on a string or on the bullet time handle thing that you can buy from Insta360. And it creates this cool like orbiting around time shift matrixy effect. It's kind of gimmicky if I'm being honest, especially the way they advertise it. Though it is a cool effect that you could use in like especially travel videos or something where you wanted to like showcase, hey, I'm in this environment, and then hey, I'm in this other environment. Yeah, I mean, could be handy. Let's test it out real quick. It's a little sketchy because you got to swing this heavy camera around your head. Note for anybody out there doing this, the extended selfie stick is not the best tool to do this. It's a little big and fat and kind of heavy. Or actually, I just made a discovery. You can use the extended selfie stick, the fat one, but just it's better if you only use the skinny parts of it. So instead of using these sections extended, leave those in the handle and use the thin part because it's just much smoother. It puts less stress on the whole setup, it feels like. Anyway, for those of you who are like, what is bullet time? I'll just show you what I'm talking about. Okay, and that's basically it. Okay, so 360 cameras are pretty cool. Having the chance to play with one of these, I'd never touched a 360 camera before, so having the opportunity to mess around with this Insta360 X4 was pretty fun. Really enjoyed it. But has my mind been changed about 360 cameras? Am I gonna go out and buy one of these with my own money now? No, but I do appreciate them more than I did before. The big deal still for me though is the reframing in post. It's a blessing and a curse, because the blessing is you capture everything, that's awesome. The curse is to make use of all that, you have to go in and painstakingly reframe everything. Now, if you guys know a shortcut to make that a lot easier, be sure to comment below. Maybe you've had more experience with 360 cameras than I have. There's a good chance of that because I literally have only been playing around with this for a few days. I think there's a group of people out there who are like, well, a 360 camera captures everything, so that's the most versatile. I'll just get that as my main camera. And to those people, I would say, think again, because it can be more work than you want to get even to the point of having a usable video, for one thing. And second, while there are things that only a 360 camera can do, an action camera is better at doing action camera things than a 360 camera is, if that makes sense. So as far as like getting one camera for your vlogging or whatever, or just, you know, capturing memories and stuff, I think you're better off getting an action camera and then getting a 360 camera if you have a more specific application that necessitates having that 360 angle. Just my opinion. The cons just kind of outweigh the pros for me right now. If you guys think I'm hating on it, not giving it a fair shake, you're kind of right. I've only had it a few days playing with it and haven't really explored everything that's possible, but this is by no means a full in-depth review of the X4. This is just like my first impressions of it and kind of my first blush thoughts about 360 cameras. So feel free to leave your disapproving comments below, because the more comments the merrier. If you guys want more content like this, you can check out this playlist right here with all my camera and gear stuff videos. Hope you guys found this one helpful and informative, maybe just entertaining. I'll see you guys next time.